welcome on site. It's your boy A60 on site at C3 Aesthetics and Wellness. We went in there, and I want to get the pronunciation right, Bill. Is it Cairo? Cryotherapy. Okay. We just went through the process, and for those who don't know, Bill is one of the sponsors of this year's A60 events. Thank you. I really appreciate that. We're going to have us a great time this year. Hopefully, we get you to come next year.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm planning on it.
All right. That's good. Now, everybody, we got the event that's starting Friday night. It'll be 8 p.m. So, everybody that's with Team Brooklyn, I need everybody to show up. Bring out your grills, bring out your coolers. It starts 8 p.m. Friday night, St. John's Park. And then part 2, birthday celebration, my 50th, in the park with everybody, August 9th in St. John's. We say 12 p.m. we're going to start, but 1 p.m. But I'll be in the park probably about 11, 12. Shout out to everybody that's going to be dealing with the food. Maria, Jamila, all Mr. T's family that's helping out with all the food. Smitty, I know you're going to be on the grill. If you don't know, you know now. Just giving you the heads up. Shout out to my guy Pete, who's bringing out the bees for us to play on. Going to get us a win this year. Shout out to Flo, who's doing that tournament early Saturday. And I know those basketball players are going to be getting that draft going. And we are going to be playing against them as well. So, Flo, I appreciate you for doing what you're doing. Always showing me love out there. And this will be my 6th year doing this. So, gotta go hard or go home. And ain't nothing like celebrating my figure home. So this will be a great way to turn out. But I wanted to try cryo. And a great way to do it is somebody that knows a lot about it. And interesting to say, we met through softball.
Yeah, we sure did.
And met through softball, played against his team, C3. Won some games, lost some games. I don't think you was there for the fights. Thank God you wasn't for that. I don't think it was a fight though, but it might have been. But it was some good games, one way or the other. And you meet a lot of relationships going through softball, as we all know. Okay, you want to explain how we met?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been playing softball for a lot of years. I'm getting up there in age, but I still enjoy playing softball. And I sponsor a team, C3 Aesthetics and Wellness, out in Plano, as well as here in Prosper. Mm-hmm. And happened to meet Al as a competitor. He was a competitive pitcher who I was just, taking to town and hitting on him all the time. But anyway, that's a different story.
Slap pop.
But, we got to talking. I pitched as well some games and played different positions, and we got to talking and just got to know each other and realized that we have a lot in common. Mm-hmm. Al's a great guy. I enjoyed his competitive nature as well as just having a friendly talk after the game, before and after the game, about our lives in general and Al's mission and things of that nature. So it's really been a pleasure. I'm getting to know you, Al, obviously, and be a sponsor for you this year for the first time.
Yeah, first time.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the mission and what Al's doing here. And, it's always been great to play against him, as I said, in a competitive nature. But he asked me a lot in the field. He said, we talk about our age. And one day he asked me, he says, how old are you? I said, well, I think at the time I was 53. I said, 53 years old. This year I'm 55. And this is just a few years back. He says, man, you're doing pretty good for your age. And I said, well, yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to keep myself in some kind of shape.
Right.
Mind is much stronger than the body, right?
Always. That it's telling you one thing and someone's doing something else.
Yeah, I like to think I can do a lot more than my body says I can do. So I had explained to him my business at one point at C3 Aesthetics and what we do in cryotherapy, and said, Al, you really got to come try this. And, I had the great joy of having Al up here today and watching him freeze in the cryo chamber.
Oh, my God. If you never did it, I recommend, and we're going to get into that, I recommend do your research, get your information, be knowledgeable about it, because you will not regret it. Was I skeptical? 1,000%. But I had other little people with me, which my boys, they're very competitive. They did it longer than I have. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. But to see them go through something that they said they was not going to do, that was a great thing. So I really appreciate that. That was fun. I don't care how much music you listen to in here. It is cold. But to get the information before I got in, I felt like that was important more than anything. So you sit there and walk us through that process. That was great. But let's jump into it. Bill, where are you from? Like, are you from Texas, or was you from somewhere else before you led you to
Okay.
Texas?
Great question. Actually, I've been in Texas since 2011. I'm originally a Midwesterner. I'm from Michigan. And when I moved to Texas, I remember moving here thinking, I can't wait to get away from winter. I was so happy to get away from winter. And I also remember moving here and my neighbors saying to me that they couldn't wait for football season to start. And I thought to myself, I don't like when football season starts because that's when winter starts officially. When you're up in the say the Midwest, I lived up in Michigan, so that's when winter really started for all intents and purposes. And I was never a cold person. So now, after being here since 2011, I love football season. I wait for winter time and I wait for colder weather to come.
It never gets too cold here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then oddly enough, I found myself in the cryotherapy business, and that kind of even took it a step further. I never thought I would enjoy it as much as I do, but I really do.
Michigan man, was you a Wolverine fan?
I am a Wolverine alumni, so I've had a good run a couple of years. The last few years, and particularly in beating Ohio State, which makes my heart happy. But that's just that's from being a Michigan fan.
Well, knowing that, I'm good friends with Jimmy King.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
Really?
So
oh, gosh.
he's
God
a good
bless
friend
him.
of mine.
Love Jimmy King.
He's out in Plano.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jimmy and
Yeah.
everything that he's doing out there in Michigan and
Yeah,
Detroit.
Fab
He does
Five.
the camp, with Fab Five.
They turned basketball upside down.
That was
Five.
just an amazing run in those 90s, wasn't
Yes,
it?
it was.
Yeah, shout out to Jimmy. Actually, I interviewed Jimmy. Jimmy, we got to do part 2, just so you know. But yeah, me and Jimmy, good friends. We met mutually through family and friends as well that have been out here. But I knew that maybe I can get Jimmy to come in here one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be a good day. So, did you play sports when you was younger?
I didn't play anything, and oddly enough, I wasn't a big high school athlete. I was busy getting in trouble, to be honest with you. Just to be fair, I was busy getting in trouble. But I always played pickup sports with my friends. Basketball, football, was always doing something. Obviously, being from Detroit, the Pistons were huge. I spent a lot of time playing basketball
Isaiah
with friends. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And football, and when we played football, even if it wasn't organized, but it wasn't exactly friendly. Tackle football wasn't always nice, and people didn't play by the rules, right? Right. So I played a lot of sports growing up, and I've always been competitive. And it just translated throughout my life as I got older. I mean, I've been playing softball now, my gosh, since 30 years I've been playing softball. I've been playing softball a long time.
Travel?
Not travel, just I've always played for different teams, and people invite me to play, and it was in different leagues. So,
okay.
And anyone who's from Detroit knows if you played at out on Woodward, it was the old state fairgrounds. I mean, we used to play in the state fairgrounds, and I remember it was like you were playing on cement under the grass, right?
That's like New York.
Old school,
like New York.
softball. And you had the red dot and blue dot softballs, those things that you hit it was like a rocket. So I've been playing softball a lot of years. I got competitive into running. I've run some half marathons, trained for marathons, always trying to find something to do. I just like to play sports. I like to work out. I like to do different things. So that's why it kind of what really got me into cryotherapy. My body was always hurting, still is. And that's really what got me involved in cryotherapy and studying cold therapy and how it helps with inflammation in the body.
So when did you? Because that was one of our next questions as we got further down. So how did you get into that? Was that something you just eventually looked up and tried to get knowledge about to be good?
Well, what really happened was there was a time, we all go through highs and lows in life, and there was a time I had lost my job and I was looking for work. And at the time, my wife was working, she's a nurse by trade, she was working in the doctor's office, and someone in this doctor's office had put in a cryo chamber. And the gentleman, he played football for Texas Tech, and he knew a lot about sports recovery, and he said, I got this cryo chamber, and I went there and tried it. And the very first time I tried it, I didn't notice a big difference. It was okay. Yeah, I'm cold, no big deal. And I had, I had fractured a knee before. I've got some knee issues, back issues. So I tried it a couple more times, and I felt amazing. By the third time, I absolutely felt amazing. I said, I love this, and signed up for a membership. And I was on this membership, and I was going in there all the time. And I saw some high school athletes coming in, some different folks. And the gentleman owned the business said, well, I own another business. This is kind of a part-time gig for me, and I want to sell it. I'm interested in selling it. I said, well, look, let me come in and work here on nights and weekends and see how well it works, what it does, what's going on with everybody. And to my surprise and amazement, there were people coming in left and right saying, man, I feel so much better. I'm sleeping better. My pain's gone away. I really love this. The whole Salina football team was coming in, and the kids were all coming in. And I really took a lot of joy in watching people get out of there and say they felt better. So I worked for them for nights and weekends just for free for about a month and a half, and then made the decision to buy the business. And had just bought the cryo chamber at the time. And our business continued to grow. It was this tiny little business, and God has a plan for everybody.
Always.
I didn't expect it to blow up the way it did, and it grew and grew. And in 6 months, the office we were in, the doctor said, "Look, you guys are taking up too much space. You need to move to a new office." And it was a surprise. I didn't know everything. At the time, didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't owned a business, and I went down to the Collin County Small Business Administration and talked to them. Worked with a gentleman over there, really great guy, who helped me with a business loan, and we got a loan. We expanded, moved up here to Salina, and then added slowly and kind of methodically, after doing research and looking at different stuff, added different aspects of the business, from a cryo chamber to compression therapy to our infrared sauna, which you saw, to light therapy.
Yes, I did see a lot.
Now we've moved to medical aesthetics as well. So we've kind of transitioned and grown, as I said, in God's plan, not ours. I didn't expect it to be the business it was. It just continued to grow, and it's been a blessing. We've helped a lot of people, and it's really been a blessing to help folks, to help them feel good, to help them look good, to, just every aspect, to meet people and meet new and exciting people and talk to people every day.
Now, did you have to learn how to do each individual thing, or did you have to get knowledge for each thing that I've seen and you showed me to have in here?
Yeah, it's a great question. We started with cryo, and I learned a lot about cryotherapy and cold therapy. Did a lot of studying on it and research, and looked at different studies and things. And then each different new product or modality we brought in, I would go out and do the research. I'd go try it. I'd see how it worked for me, what the effects were. I do research on it, and that's how we started bringing in different products and different services, really by going through the tedious research. And we still, to this day, we go to trade shows every year. We're looking at different products out there, and doing research to find out what's out there. And I think I told you before. Now I see, and now I look, and all the professional sports teams are using the same modalities that we started with. This is our 10th year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
And back then, no professional sports teams or college had cryotherapy or had compression therapy. It was few and far between. So it's really evolved a lot. It's been interesting to watch it change and grow and become the recovery for everybody, not just professional athletes, but for every, let's call it weekend warriors like myself, and student athletes, everybody else who's looking for a way. It's not just for professional athletes, but I've watched it evolve to that level. It's been interesting.
Is it a fast recovery? Is it a slow recovery? Like, what does it take? Like, say if I come in and I have back problems, and I've been having back problems for a while, what would you recommend I do when I come in? And I'm new to all this. I'm coming in, what would you recommend me?
That's a great question. We have everybody's recovery level is different, right?
Yes.
As well as inflammation within the body. Some folks have, rheumatoid arthritis, so you've got inflammation attacking your body every day, and there isn't a cure for it. The medications they prescribe don't cure it. Cryotherapy doesn't cure it. What it does is knock down the inflammation. So it depends on your level of inflammation, number one, and something else. For somebody, it might be 3 or 4 days a week if you have rheumatoid arthritis, maybe 5 days a week. For somebody who's just coming in with some back pain, maybe once or twice a week is plenty for you. So we kind of evaluate everybody based on their specific circumstances. One of the things I always like to remind people is, just as I pointed out, it's not a cure for something like rheumatoid arthritis, but what it does is get rid of the inflammation. It's not going to repair a torn ligament. It's not going to fix a broken bone. What it does do is help with the inflammation, the inflammatory process. So the inflammation in your body, it helps knock that down, which means it's going to help with pain. It's going to help eliminate the inflammation in the body, which aids in the recovery process, the healing process. And that's what's so important. Recovery is everything.
Okay. Why do you think people are more inclined not to try it? Because, for a person like myself who don't have the information, and I hear people talk about it, why do you think people will not come in here or walk by and say, "Oh, let me take a look at that"? Why do you think people wouldn't do it?
It's another really good question. There's the things about something like cryotherapy, for example. A lot of people say, well, I hate the cold. I don't want to get in the cold. I don't love the cold, right? That's one reason I hear frequently. Well, it's a 3-minute process. I mean, I like to say you can do anything for 3 minutes, right? It's a 3-minute process. And if you're going to feel better afterwards, what have you got to lose by a 3-minute process and helping with that? So
That's true.
That's one, one area where people say, I don't like the cold. Another is just lack of information about cryotherapy and the benefits and what it does for you. So cold therapy has been around for thousands of years. The ancient Egyptians were using it. In Greece, they use cold therapy. Today, in your Nordic countries, Sweden, Norway, people use cold therapy. They go sit in, ice-filled lakes, or they use cryotherapy, or they use submersion therapy into a cold lake or something of that nature. And then they'll get into heat right after. They use an infrared sauna or a sauna right afterwards. So it's been used for thousands of years to help in aiding the recovery process, to get rid of that inflammation. But there's a lot of folks that don't necessarily understand that. They don't know that information. So I spend a lot of time when customers or clients come in the door, just helping educate them on the benefits to. It's been around for thousands of years. It's proven technology, whether it's cryotherapy or you want to say, an ice bath, whatever it is, that technology's been around forever. Yeah, it's a matter of which one you like, right? The technology's been there forever, right? Number one. Number two, it's painless. You're going to be cold. It's quick. It's 3 minutes, but nobody loves the cold, but that's okay if it gets you the desired result. And that's the important part people have to realize. And I think I explained to you the last thing is that, for those folks that say, well, I don't believe in it, it's not going to help me. Well, again, it's been around thousands of years, but all your professional sports teams now are using cryotherapy. They're using red light therapy. They're using compression therapy. They're using these modalities, this technology, to keep their athletes healthy. And the reason they are is because these athletes are worth money, a lot of money.
Yeah,
they mean a lot of money.
Expensive.
Yes,
that's right.
I mean, they represent a lot of money for a sports franchise, or even for a Division I, Division II college. That's revenue that's to them. So that's why they're leveraging this technology. If they didn't think it worked, they wouldn't be utilizing it.
That's true. You were saying something to Jaden, son, because he plays volleyball.
Yes.
The leg thing.
Compression therapy.
Yes. I wish I'd have had that growing up. I was pretty fast growing up. I know I might not look like it now, but I was.
Hold on. You told me you had a nickname.
Yes, the nickname was Roadrunner. That's what they gave me. Yeah, that road is no more running. That's that back then. But I know I took them to do that a while. Now, how does that help with the legs?
Yeah. So compression therapy, Normatec's been around for a lot of years out there in the industry as well. And they are well known in the runner's circle and cyclist circle, but even beyond that, baseball pitchers, hockey players, baseball, players for your legs. It really, what it does, a compression therapy, it's getting rid of the lactic acid buildup in your legs or your arms or your hips. They have them for all three areas. You can use them in your hips, your arms, your legs. What it does is basically it's taking the blood circulation. Also, by the way, helps with lymphedema if you're not poor circulation. So it's taking the blood flow and circulating it around, say from the bottom of your legs all the way up back into the thigh, and then circulates right back down. So it's giving you that circular blood flow, either in the arms, legs, or hips, and that's getting blood flow to those areas, which is pushing out the lactic acid buildup. It's getting blood flow in areas that might not be getting the blood flow that they need. So really, really effective in helping people heal, get rid of that lactic acid buildup. I'm someone that, again, I think I told you, I ran a couple of Dallas half marathons, and Normatec is always there. They always set up a booth at any major marathon. You'll see them outside. They set up a booth for people to use the technology. If you're training, and I say for marathons, but even if you're training for, again, a marathon, or if you're doing a lot of squats, right? You're doing volleyball, you're jumping up and down, you're training for any kind of race. It really helps with the legs to get rid of that lactic acid buildup, and you perform better. At the end of the day, the recovery modalities help you perform better as an athlete. And that translates not just to professional athletes, but to, again, weekend warriors, to high school athletes, to anyone who's just trying to train and get better.
Okay. Could I do cryo and do the leg therapy separately in the same? Like, say if I go and do cryo now, wait a couple of minutes and do it. Can I do them both at the same time?
Absolutely. You'll hear some businesses will refer to it as a freeze and squeeze. You know, that's been out there. Just like some people will use a sauna after cryotherapy. They'll refer to that as fire and ice, right?
Okay.
Of course, you want to do cryo before you do the sauna because you want to be sweaty when you go in a cryotherapy chamber. But you absolutely can use them. And they work in conjunction very well together.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know because, you know, sometimes what you don't get in cryo, you want to try to get in the leg situation just in case. And separate them.
Well, yeah, they do different things. So cryotherapy is helping with inflammation, where Normatec compression is helping with lactic acid buildup and getting blood flow into those areas. So a little bit different. You know, they're both recovery modalities, but just in a slightly different way. So,
oh man, that's interesting to know. And also, I see that you have a lot of products that's around here that you can sell. Is that some of the stuff that you add on, or is that just for facials and things that I know that go on?
Yeah, you know, at C3 Aesthetics, our business is diversified in the fact that we're a wellness and sports recovery business first. That's really how we started, how we got into the business. We also, because we're supervised by a doctor and we have a nurse on site, that we also do medical aesthetics here as well. So, you know, Botox and filler and things for beauty, right? And facials and waxing. And then on the sports recovery side, we do things like IV therapy and compression therapy and red light therapy and infrared sauna. So we kind of have two different, we actually say, you know, we've got your health and wellness business or your sports recovery, health and wellness and beauty, all intertwined in our business.
Okay. I want to talk to you about the IV therapy. What is that for? Because I've always seen it. I've seen it at some softball games that I go play. People will do it. I've seen it in casinos where people want to get an IV. You know, I've seen that. What does that do? Can you explain that?
Yeah, so IV therapy it's a wonderful way to make sure that you're getting the vitamins and minerals you need as well as hydration absorbed as quickly as you can in your body.
Okay.
So, you know, you can drink fluids. Fluids is a wonderful thing. Obviously, you want to make sure you're hydrated. A lot of folks get dehydrated for a lot of different reasons. One might be just not drinking enough fluids. One could be recovering from an illness. One could be because, as Al said, the casino, maybe you drank too much. Right?
Got to get ready to go get it.
That's right. You got to get ready to go get it. So IV therapy is a great way to get vitamins, minerals, and fluids back in your body. They're going to be absorbed into your system really quickly and help you feel better extremely quick, you know, really, really fast. So, you know, I use them before I go on long runs, for example. As I mentioned to you before, going on a long run. If you're going to run a marathon, a half marathon, I always recommend get an IV, not the day of, the day before. Let that get in your system and everything, and you're going to perform really, really well. That same thing applies with, let's just say you're doing your football workout, right? It's coming that time of season, right? They're going to start their practicing out in the heat. And you got to find ways to hydrate in 2 days, and you've got to find ways to hydrate, and IV is a great way to do that. Anytime you're out in this heat, not you got 2 days, but then as we know, when football season starts, it's still going to be hot out there for the first couple months of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you're not properly hydrated, you're not going to perform at your best. So, but it doesn't have to be, again, professional athletes use it. It can be for high school athletes. It can be for, again, your weekend warrior who's out who wants to go for a run this weekend, or maybe you're playing a long softball tournament, right? I know some of the softball tournaments you're playing for a weekend. It's hot out there the entire time.
Man.
It really gives you a competitive advantage to be hydrated over the other folks that aren't hydrated and trying to figure out a way.
Right.
They're running out of gas and you're not.
Yeah, they actually had one at the last tournament that I was at. They had a lady who was set up for the IV.
Yeah.
They had a chiropractor on site and stuff like that. And I was sitting there, I was like, IV, somebody would sit out here and put an IV in there, right now. And it was, they help your body. I'm like, oh, okay.
The thing is, there's so many folks, whether you're, again, an athlete weekend warrior, what I find in the sports arena is professional athletes have this incredible amount of care. Again, because they have a staff, their diet is tight, they've got a staff saying, here's what you're going to do to recover, and they're expected to do those things. A lot of folks that are out there who aren't in that professional level, you have access to all the same things that a professional athlete does, but most folks tend to neglect it until they're actually at the point where they're hurt, or it's at that point where you're so dehydrated you almost can't get back to good for a few days until you're away, or you've hurt yourself so much that now you've got to lay off for a week or two just because you've gone past that point. Where the main things you can do as somebody who's working out or doing any or practicing for a sport or training, the main things obviously are your training, your nutrition, and your recovery. And recovery is sleep, as well as the recovery modalities to help get rid of inflammation out of your body, to help your body recover that much faster, because those things help you perform better. And that's really what it's about, is how do you want to perform?
Mhm. Okay. Now, everybody's not knowledgeable about this, right? What separates C3 from anybody else?
Love it. I love that question. Well, again, number one is this is our 10th year in business. So there's a lot of different wellness businesses out there. Not many of them have been in business doing cryotherapy, compression therapy, all these things for 10 years. Mm-hmm. We're one of the very first people who's been in this industry. There's a few that have been out there longer, not many. But also, I'm one of the owners. My wife my wife and I own the business. My wife's a nurse as well. So she's a trained medical professional, obviously being a nurse, and we are overseen by a doctor. So there's a lot of knowledge out there amongst us. And on top of that, we've gone out and we're constantly researching. I go out and I research. I go to trade shows. I research products and industries out there. I do a lot of reading on what technologies are out there, what's working, what's not. And I personally go try things as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm always a guinea pig. There isn't anything I've brought in here that I haven't tried on myself or someone in my family first before we've brought it in to make sure it works. I don't like to just bring products out and go, hey, I promise you this is going to do this.
Right.
I've got to know it works. I'm such a big believer in cryotherapy because I started doing it back since 10 years, a little over 10 years ago, I started doing cryotherapy on my own. I got to know what it did, how it affected my body. And that's what I've done with everything in this business. I use everything in here. I have red light therapy at my house. I have Saluma therapy. I showed you the light therapy.
Yeah, that was
I have
nice.
one at my home as well. I use the infrared sauna here. I use Normatec all the time. I've used everything in here. I get IVs regularly. I use everything to make sure and to see how it works. And that's how I can tell you it works so well.
Right.
I told you, I'm at 55 trying to play sports. My body hurts. Right?
Oh,
and I'm using all these things, these modalities all the time to make me feel better. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. I wish I'd have found out about this a lot sooner.
I know, right?
Probably put another 5 years on my career.
Yeah. That's why I keep saying, keep trying now. It's never too late to make sure you take care of your body because, when you, as you know, and as I know, because I've hurt myself over the years, it doesn't get any easier. And the older you get, the more it hurts. So you need to take care of your body while you can. Use the technology that's out there today. Make sure you treat your body well, and it will treat you well as you get older.
Mm-hmm. Are you in some type of conversations with these high schools because they got the sports over there? I know you got Prosper right here.
Yeah.
Are you in talks with any of them to get the kids over here to talk to them and give the coaches that knowledge and see that it's helpful? Have you went out and talked to anybody?
We have. We actually spent years, and as we first started as a business, I used to do lunch and learns at the schools. I would cater in lunch to all of the coaches, the sports coaches, the athletic directors. Now they've gotten kind of big, and it's a lot harder to get a hold of a lot of the school districts to do that. Yeah. But that's how we started, was doing that. When we first started our business, the entire Salina football team, the staff always came in. But Prosper's now grown to, adding their fourth high school.
It's crazy. I remember when they just had.
So now they don't have as much time for me as they used to, but we spend more time now. I still do educate the coaches, and we see coaches come in, but we spend more time educating the parents because at the end of the day, the school district doesn't pay for it. The parents do. Yes. And they've got to understand what's best for their student athlete, their child. They want to make sure it's safe and it's a good, effective approach for them. So we spend more time really educating parents now, but we still do talk to teachers and coaches and athletic directors. And as I said, when we've run Prosper for all the years, Salina, Gunner, who's won a lot of championships, the Gunner Tigers have won a lot of football championships. Prestonwood used to send a lot of kids up here. Stogner, who's playing football in Oklahoma, he's played a couple of places. Javon Bouton, who's over at Navy, he's about to graduate. I can name all these kids all over the place. Jake Majors over at Texas. He used to come in here all the time, and I remember him saying that, hey, Texas is just adding a couple of crowd chambers just before, as he was a recruit, and he was getting ready to go there. I got to know so many kids. It's great to watch them all grow up and go places and go to the NFL, do all these amazing things.
That's amazing.
And it's just great to have known that you were just a small part of it. I'm not the one doing the work or anything, but I got to know them as kids, as student athletes, and to watch them grow. And I mean, it's been amazing. So
and that's what it's
that's been really fun to do that over the years. And I mean, that's just a couple. I mean, we see a lot of high school athletes. We see professional athletes. We see, again, people like myself. People tell me stories, and we talk about, hey, you're running a marathon, or you rode this cycling race and you rode the X amount of miles, or you went to this country and did this. And it's just great to share those stories and talk to folks. And professional golfers I've had in here, I mean, I see it all. I've seen everybody.
Oh, wow. And do you just branch out here? Do you go like in the Plano Senior, Plano East?
This is actually our only location. When we first started, we had said, hey, we're gonna expand out and have 3 to 5 locations. And I had this grand plan of where I wanted to be. But as as you get older, you go, okay, well, do I really want to have to manage 3 or 4 or 5 places? So I like the area we're in, and we started in a very small area. Salina really had, when I moved to Prosper, there was 3,000 people in Prosper, and now there's close to 50. In Salina, there was about, I want to say 5,000 or 6,000, and we're around 40-some thousand in Salina. Salina is going to be, they say, in 2037, something around 300,000 people. And
I wouldn't be surprised with the way they're growing. They building out here.
Just continues to grow and grow, but it's also been nice being a smaller business, if you will.
Yes,
because you don't lose touch. We get to know people locally, and we know the families, we know the people locally, and it's been good for us. So we think we're just going to stay as this little business like this. I enjoy it.
That's good. Maybe I gotta get some of the other high school guys to come out this way. Like, I know guys at Plano Senior. Dean Christian is one of the coaches. Get him to be interested and see it. They don't bring him out just for himself to see how it is first.
I always encourage. We ask the coaches if they come out and they're a coach. We tell them we'll educate them. We'll run them for free in cryo. We'll let them see what it's all about. And over the years, I've had a hockey team that used to come from Atlanta, and every time they came to play here, they'd play the Texas Brahmas. They'd bring the whole team in the bus. They'd come cryo. I've had the different high school teams bring the whole bus with all the players, and they'll come in here and cryo and use the services before they go. We've got obviously the Prosper football field right down the road there. There's a Children's Health Field over there that's right around the corner there. And if you're coming for a football game, give us a call, and we can run the kids before you get out there, before you play the game. And imagine how much cooler your kids are going to feel when they're on the field.
Oh, man, I guarantee you they're going to feel cool.
You're coming to Salina, you're coming to Prosper. We're right by Frontier Road. So it's, again, I love to educate coaches. I love to see the kids do well. I love to see them perform. And I can't tell you how many games I've gone to go watch of all these kids perform. It's just, it's being part of the community and that feeling of seeing them. So I like to, again, to your point, I love to go talk to the coaches when I can. And if they have time, I know how busy they are with their schedules. So it's really hard, but I always welcome them to come in. And if they want, we'll schedule time. We come in if somebody needs, after hours, they're going to have a game Saturday night and they want us to stay and make sure we run them. We'll stay and run the kids before they go and play the football game. So we'll add extra hours and extra time for folks that want to come in.
Oh, that's cool. Now, how can people get this information and knowledge that you just gave us? You've been giving me since I walked through the door. Where can they find this information about the business?
Well, you can find us obviously on the web, c3aesthetics.com. So that's one place to find us. Also, just if you give us a call, 214-457-3272. My wife Holly is one of our staff is always there to help you. My wife Holly or myself, Bill, you can always ask for us. I'm happy to educate anyone and just have a good conversation of how we can help you and let you know, what we can and cannot do if that's the case. If there's something we can't do, we're the first ones to tell you. We have a lot of people that call us with medical questions, and again, my wife being a nurse and a doctor available as well, that we're knowledgeable about letting people know what's the best way, the best avenue for them to take care of whatever that issue is. So, and there's been times we've turned people away and said, you need to go check with your doctor first, because that does happen as well. There's people that will call and say, well, can you help me with this, a particular condition or that? We're the first ones to say, if we're not 100% confident that it's something that's right, or just because my wife's a nurse and because of a doctor, that we'll say, look, go check with your doctor first. Go do this. There are some places that don't have that medical knowledge, and they just say, yeah, come on in and do this or that. And you've got to be cautious, because at the end of the day, safety is the first and foremost thing for us. We want to make sure we've got your best interest at heart.
Wow. So you have turned people away
Absolutely.
that you. But I think when you turn people away, they think you can solve that problem.
Yeah.
They don't know that it's really could be a continuous issue.
Yeah.
They think automatically, oh, I'd rather not take the pill, but I go here. You can save whatever issues I have. That's interesting that
Yeah.
you say that, because I think a lot of people think automatically when you come in, I have a bruised knee. So they thinking, oh, he's going to heal my bruised knee.
Yeah.
No, you got inflammation and it's going to take time over the process, but you still need to take that medication,
Or you can have infection that it won't help. You could have staph or MRSA or something from the field, from being on football fields. That happens, right? And you can have something like that. You don't necessarily want to use cryo in that case, right?
Yes.
Because now you're just spreading that around. You want to make sure that you're asking questions and you're knowledgeable about what you're saying. Again, we have turned people away, and sometimes, to be honest, they've said, "Well, I can't believe you turned me away," but we've sent them to doctors, and doctors have said, "Oh no, you have this or that," and it was something completely different that they didn't need to be doing cryotherapy or any kind of recovery here with. But we just got to be cautious. So again, when that's first and foremost is our client safety, and then secondarily helping them look and feel their best in any way we can.
That's amazing. But Bill, do you think there's anything that we haven't covered?
No, I would just say that again, from the different, the importance of, from any kind of athlete, whether you're a home athlete or a professional athlete, a high school, college athlete, is, your training is number one. Your diet's super key, is really key. And the rest and recovery is a really important part. Don't let up on the recovery portion of that. You need to sleep, you need to recover, and that's what we're here for. So think about cryotherapy, red light therapy, compression therapy, heat therapy. Think about all those different things, how you can help. And then outside of that, as I said, we are a sports recovery, wellness, and beauty shop. So a lot of folks don't realize that we have all those modalities plus IV. We do vitamin injections as well. And we have microneedling, Botox, fillers, CO2 laser resurfacing. So we have a lot of other modalities, waxing, facials that we can do, diamond glow facial, different things. So not only if you are to bring in a student athlete, if you're a mom or dad out there and you want to come in and take care of yourself and pamper yourself a little,
I'm coming for a facial.
Yeah, great place to come for that. Right? I do it all the time. I have them do the diamond glow facial on me. I love that. So,
yeah, I'm coming for a facial. I haven't done one in a while. I'm coming for a facial.
So that's all I would say is we're really a one-stop shop for everything. It's not just you can come in and bring your student athlete or come in for yourself for recovery, but also for your beauty needs and your wellness as well.
Oh man, that's cool. Bill, I want to say thank you for opening your business, opening your information. I'm very knowledgeable now. I wasn't, but thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for my boys coming in here and having a good time. You changed their minds from people saying no to going, I'm doing it twice. And I was like, what? Okay. But really, thank you for being part of my event this year. It was great meeting you, and I look forward to always having something for prosperous.
All right. Thanks so much. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. A60, we out. If you need that information, I'll get it to you as soon as possible. Other than that, I'll see you guys in New York. See, that didn't hurt.
There you go.